Ronald Ward Roby. Uh, Back in 1980s, the early 80s, around 1982, I wrote a song about an event that happened to me in Clifton, Virginia. And this song is called A Blanket of Mercy. Just a little bit of background about it. I had been working on a 4104 Greyhound bus with a friend, and he was getting ready to go on the road with it as a gospel singer. Him and his family played music and sang, and I was helping him work on his bus, and the it was the middle of winter. The friend had gone in the house for the night, and his family had gone in for the night, and I stayed out on the bus trying to get a few things taken care of. Well, somehow or another, the door to the bus got locked. I mean, not to the bus, to the house. And so when I finished, I went up to the house, and the door was locked. And I couldn't get in, so I went back to the bus. We had an old kerosene heater on the bus, and so I just laid down on the bus because it was nice and warm, and fell asleep. Well, I woke up in the middle of the night, and the fire had gone out. The kerosene had burned out of the heater, and it was cold. It was down. I don't know what the temperature was, but it there was 2 foot of snow on the ground at the time, and it was very cold, and I was chilled, just shaking, and I didn't know what to do because that door was locked on the house, and I couldn't get in. So I started walking back and forth on the bus to try to keep warm, so I didn't freeze to death. It got pretty cold there in the winters, there in Northern Virginia. But about the third or fourth time that I walked down the aisle of the bus, I noticed a blanket sitting on the back of a seat. And I figured that somebody had brought the blanket out and laid it down on the seat for me in case I got cold in the middle of the night. And so I got it, covered up, went to sleep, and I slept all night just fine. Well, the next morning I went up to the house, and I thanked them for the blanket. They didn't know where the blanket came from, and they thought I was kidding. They asked me to take them out to the bus and show them, or to go out and get the blanket and show them. And I showed them the blanket, and nobody knew where it came from. They asked friends, they asked neighbors, and nobody seemed to know where the blanket came from. That inspired me to write this song, A Blanket of Mercy. Now, I'm not a singer. I don't claim to be. I was just a friend of the singers. And so don't listen to my voice, just listen to the lyrics of the song. And Lisa Brewer Watkins, you can share this song with your uncle and the lyrics. And if he feels that he can use it, or he can tweak it to get a good recording, then he's welcome to do it, and with my blessing. Okay, the song says, the fire had gone out, the bus had grown cold. I walked back and forth, so chilled to the bone. But God sent an angel, the chill then did flee. With the blanket of mercy, his love covered me, excuse me. A blanket of mercy, a cover so warm. He made me to sleep in spite of the storm. I praised my Lord Jesus, and he found delight. My prayer was answered with the blanket that night. I saw not the angel, but the proof was right there. For he left a blanket on the back of the chair. God is so loving. He cares for his sheep. He gave me a blanket and calls me to sleep. A blanket of mercy, a cover so warm. He made me to sleep in spite of the storm. I praise my Lord Jesus, and he found delight. My prayer was then answered with a blanket that night, a blanket of mercy, a cover so warm. He made me to sleep in spite of the storm. I praised my Lord Jesus, and he found delight. My prayers was then answered with a blanket that night. I praised my Lord Jesus, and he found delight. My prayer was then answered with a blanket that night. Like I said, the song is my singing is not the best. I'm not a singer, but that's the basic tune. And if you can do anything with it, you have my blessings. You can do whatever you need to do with it to tweak it to make it sound good. And I certainly would love to hear a good recording of it by a band or something, and see it used for God's glory.